First, we want to go over a few highlights of our park's operations for 2020. Even though it was an unusual year, our staff were working hard to make improvements and keep the park operating for our visitors. The big news of the year was, of course, coronavirus. It affected our work, park operations, and each of our lives at home. After closing cave tours, the visitor center, and campground operations on March 18th, the park reopened tours on June 1st and campgrounds on June 11th. We operated under a limited self-guided tour which allowed us to adhere to CDC guidelines while continuing to serve the public. All of our staff across programs did a great job of identifying safety precautions for themselves, other employees, and visitors that we could implement in our offices and workspaces. We were able to safely offer the chance for the public to experience Mammoth Cave and for our staff to continue to manage and monitor park resources over the course of the year. If a safety issue or concern was identified, great ideas were put together to modify the operations to correct the problem. There was a great amount of teamwork to make this year possible, and I just want to say thank you for all the collaboration. Our interpretation and fee staff did a wonderful job at providing a quality tour experience for our cave tour visitors and in helping those who just wanted to find a trail to stretch their legs on. Everyone's dedication and professionalism represented the park and the Park Service well. As expected, 2020 visitation was reduced due to the change in capacity of our tours, programs, and campgrounds. We are down about 65% over last year in cave visitation alone, but despite the lower number of visitors on cave tours, the park hiking trails and rivers became a destination for people needing to get outside and recreate. The numbers are showing about 38,686 people used the backcountry trails during FY20 compared with 28,691 in FY19, a 35% increase. As we are talking about operations, it is important to note that Bruce Powell, our very own Deputy Superintendent of Mammoth Cave National Park, has announced that after 36 years of federal service, he will be retiring from the National Park Service. Bruce has served his last 20 years at Mammoth Cave and completed many major projects and witnessed several changes during his career. He has been dependable, hardworking, and his passion for his job truly show in how much he cares for this park, its employees, and our many community partners. His institutional knowledge and dedication have been amazing assets that we will definitely miss after he retires. Thank you for all you have done for us, Bruce. Best wishes in the next chapter of your life. A disruption in the school system in the spring and fall changed the programming for our environmental education staff. Instead of in-person programs conducted within the schools, the EE staff conducted many virtual programs for students all over the country. EE staff reached out to the public through the park's social media pages to see if anyone was interested in signing up for Mammoth Cave virtual EE programs. There was a good response from across the country, and since the post went up, EE booked programs with schools in Las Vegas, Texas, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and even Hawaii. In addition to virtual programs for classrooms, EE also recorded several educational videos that were posted on the park's YouTube channel and advertised through social media, and held a virtual junior ranger camp in cooperation with the Kentucky Cooperative Extension Office in Hardin County. They also hosted 6 in-person overnight teacher workshops to help educate teachers on how to take park curriculums into their classrooms. The size of the teacher workshops were reduced to 10 to fit within public health guidelines. The workshops were made possible from a grant from State Farm that was received by the Friends of Mammoth Cave. 2020 marked 50 years of the VIP program of the National Park Service. Mammoth Cave did have some volunteers active in the park over the year, but on a much smaller scale than normal. 1,228 volunteers provided almost 36,000 hours of volunteer service, which equals approximately $978,000 in work for the park. Our VIP coordinator and community volunteer program ambassador were able to coordinate many volunteer projects and keep them safe despite the difficulties surrounding the pandemic. The park held cemetery and park facility cleanups, a garlic mustard pull, trash pickups, cleaning of historic steps in the cave, mussel monitoring, and several river cleanups. In one area alone, Turley's Corner, volunteers picked up almost 10,000 pounds of debris. A hot tub was even removed from the middle of the Green River from Cave Island. In addition, many other volunteers continued to serve in all divisions to assist with various park operations. VIPs worked as law enforcement PSAR assistants, cave guides, facility trail assistants, science and resource management resource assistants, and admin's warehouse assistants continued to help us keep the park running. There were 2 National Civilian Community Corps crews during FY20, and right now there is one AmeriCorps NCCC team, Willow 5 from North Central, in the park who will be here until mid-December, and another NCCC crew from the Pacific region who will be with us through February. Both teams are working on back and front country trail maintenance. Several scout groups participated in trail cleanups, and in addition, the Community Volunteer Program Ambassador hosted a couple of virtual meetings with Girl Scout troops to help them fulfill the requirements of the MPS 19th Amendment Centennial Women's Suffrage Badge. The park has also been put on the list of parks that Scouts can contact if they want to earn their Resource Stewardship Badge from a national park site. There are a few parks that have the badge in hand because most do not have the capacity to manage this program. This is a great example of how the park is utilizing the Community Volunteer Ambassador position to support parks across multiple regions. Several alternative spring break trips made Mammoth Cave their destination for volunteer work, and Troop 47 from Franklin, Kentucky won the Regional Hartsog Award for Outstanding Volunteer Services in the youth group category for their work in improving the Sal Hallow backcountry campsite. The troop removed dead and down debris and garbage along a 4-mile section of trail, cleared the Sal Hallow campsite of down trees and garbage, and dismantled the unauthorized campsite located outside of the campsite boundary. The latest shark fossil information from the ongoing paleontological inventory was released on National Fossil Day, October 14th. There was a small media event to announce the latest discoveries. The findings in the cave are very significant in the paleontological world. The lead paleontologist, J.P. Hognett, said that he can't take a few steps in the cave before seeing a whole new slew of new fossils. The park is planning to develop a display for our visitor center about the shark fossils. They are located in areas that are inaccessible to tours, so this would be the best way to bring the fossils to the public. Our geoscientist in the parks, guest scientist, started in the park in early 2020. She has had a busy year with time spent working on projects for the park as well as for several outside organizations such as the Mammoth Cave Biosphere Region, the Barren River Area Development District, and Western Kentucky University. She supported branding and outreach, partnerships, and research and monitoring of our important area resources. She presented to local community groups on her work as well as on the impacts COVID-19 has had on tourism. She worked on a GIS project for our National Water Trail application as well as assisting in the creation of a new video featuring Mammoth Cave Biosphere Region. While everyone was busy this year keeping the park open and safe, we also found time to complete several projects and planning efforts. The pavement preservation project to repave most of the park's previously paved roads and parking areas was completed during the fall of 2020. The work caused some disruption in the parking areas and roads, especially in early June when the work was done around the visitor center, but the roads look really great and are nice and smooth to drive on. The end product is a big improvement for the park. The environmental assessment to construct family cabins and improve site access was completed this year with a finding of no significant impact. The completion of this EA is the first step in the project to redesign the lodge parking lot and realign the entry roads and to construct new family-sized cabins near our lodging facilities. The concept plan for Houchins Ferry was signed with a finding of no significant impact in October 2020. The plan will serve as kind of a roadmap on how we might develop Houchins Ferry moving forward. The next step will be to get an actual design plan of the changes, and we will begin to explore funding options. The improvements plan for Houchins Ferry will allow the site to function better and create an enhanced visitor experience for a variety of user groups like campers, boaters, day users, and possibly hikers. In the spring of this year, the Green River ferry boat was replaced with a refurbished vessel that sits higher in the water, carries more weight, and has extended ramps which help it to reach higher up on the shore. The guide wires were rerun and a new boat was launched in mid-March, but the boat did experience a delay in the Coast Guard certification. The Mammoth Cave facility team worked through the issues, including the functionality of the gate hinges, to make sure the ferry was safe and operational for several weeks during the summer. The ferry was docked again on the north bank of the Green River in early September, but was refloated in early December in anticipation of reopening operations. Over 165 picnic tables were purchased in 2020 and will replace all of the old tables in the campground and picnic areas. The new tables are more durable and sustainable and even have the MPS Arrowhead emblem stamped in its side. We are constantly looking at ways we can improve the park operations and facilities, and here is the long list of projects you will see continuing in the park in the upcoming year. A contract to repave and improve the Brownsville Road has been awarded. This section of road was not included in the pavement preservation project that was completed during 2020. You will again see paving work on this road through the spring of 2021. Work on extending the Green River Ferry crossing ramps by 30 feet is nearing completion. The contractor has finished their work for the year, with the majority of the work finished. Paving of the ramp will occur in spring 2021. This project has taken a long time to complete, and we are happy it is nearing the point where we can open it up for our local community and visitors again. The work to install a permanent canoe and kayak launch at the Green River Ferry area is moving along. The contractor has laid the concrete steps and installed the guide rail system that should make it easier to launch and retrieve canoes and kayaks. The installation of this launch should alleviate the congestion on the Green River Vehicle Ferry ramp that occurs on the busy weekends in the summer. The work to complete this project will continue into 2021. The Echo River Springs Accessible Trail and Pedestrian Bridge project entails extending the trail for about 3/10 of a mile to reach a new accessible pedestrian bridge that stretches over the Echo River. The bridge and trail extension will create a loop trail that will connect it back to the main Green River Ferry parking lot. The bridge itself has been constructed off-site and is being brought in and placed on the two bases you can see on the bottom right photo. This contract, canoe and kayak ramp, and the trail bridge project is proceeding on schedule and should be completed in the late spring of 2021. Work continues on 2 miles of underground cave trail from Snowball Room to Grand Central Station. The contractor has been working throughout the pandemic and has made some great improvements to the trails, stairs, handrails, etc. The work is functioning well, and you all should find it easier to walk the route and traverse up steep areas like Mount McKinley. The work has made the paths much easier to navigate. While it is challenging to bring materials and work in the cave, the contractor has been progressing on time. The project completion is still on schedule for May of 2021. The contract for the new sewer line project has been awarded, and work will begin in FY21. The current wastewater system was installed over 25 years ago and many aspects are failing. This project will include the replacement of air relief valves, manhole covers, sewer mains and sewer lines, fiberglass vaults, and the insertion of liners in over 20,000 linear feet of sewer mains. Along with these replacements, a new monitoring system is being installed which will provide for earlier detection of and specific locations of leaks in the system. This will allow our staff to be alerted to a problem quickly and be able to locate and fix the issue before it becomes a resource concern. In addition to the infrastructure changes, some sections of the sewer lines lie directly over Mammoth Cave's popular tour routes. These lines will be rerouted away from the main cave environment to reduce potential impacts on the cave resources. You will definitely see work throughout the park and around the visitor center with this project. In October 2020, Cave Country Trails submitted an application to the Department of Interior's National Water Trail System to create the Green and Nolan Rivers Blueway National Water Trail. If approved, this trail would be 36 miles of navigable waterway with 7 public access sites of the Green and the Nolan Rivers located predominantly within Mammoth Cave National Park and Edmonson County, including the Nolan Lake tailwater. This will be a great achievement for Cave Country Trails, the park, and our local communities who have put so much time and effort into getting this water trail established. The application will be reviewed at the department level. We do not have an estimated time for how long this review process will take. The project to refurbish and restart Wandering Woods Cave is going very well. 2 NCCC crews worked in the cave on the handrails, on the stairway, and on the surface trail that leads to the cave. Park maintenance staff also built a visitor shelter at the head of the surface trail to the cave for visitors to gather for interpretive talks or to wait for the transportation bus to arrive to take them back to the visitor center. The cave entrance has also seen improvements. The new stairways should wear well with time and make it safer to access the cave. The new door is both bat-friendly and has a small opening at the bottom right-hand corner so wood rats can continue to use the cave entrance. We had a few photos of the inside of Wandering Woods taken by Jackie Wheat. There are no electric lights, so this cave tour will be given by lantern lights placed along the route. The park's plan is to offer Wandering Woods as a tour when the public health and the CDC guidelines allow us to reopen safely for our visitors and employees. Interpretation staff have been working on the tour information, and we will be coordinating with the concessionaire well in advance to get the bus service figured out before we open it to the public. Staff have been working with our regional office to resubmit our application to become an international dark sky park. Interpretation has supplied us with photographs of the park, and facilities has been helpful in retrofitting outdoor lights to be more dark sky friendly. We should be able to send the application back in for consideration very soon. This will be a great designation to add for the park and allow us to be recognized for our amazing night skies. The roof project will also realign the front entrance of the lodge with the pedestrian bridge walkway at the back of the building. The new open hotel lobby space will be more open and create an inviting gathering space for visitors passing through the lodge on their way to the visitor center. The park is also working with the concessionaire on their operations plan for the 2021 season, as the work on the hotel building will close down that building and affect their visitor service operations and administrative offices. It is important to maintain some level of visitor service such as food and beverage, so we are looking at temporary setups of food tents and/or food trucks near the visitor center to help accommodate visitors and the concessionaire during the construction period. And while we have plenty of projects underway, we have many projects on the horizon to watch out for. We are working with the concessionaire on plans for the construction of up to 8 multi-room cabins to accommodate larger-sized visitor groups within the park. Currently, lodging operations do not allow for large families or multi-generational family groups to stay together. The cabins could be built in a combination of duplex and/or single cabin configuration for flexibility in making reservations. The cabins would be built directly next to the existing main lodge building. The woodland cottages are another concessionaire project that will address deferred maintenance needs related to the roof and exterior walls of 21 historic woodland cottage guest lodging units. This project includes the installation of HVAC systems and insulation in all buildings so they may be comfortably occupied for 3 seasons rather than just 1. A key part of this project will be to maintain the historic fabric of the buildings by encapsulating the structures in a new shell that looks identical to the historical building beneath. Completing the concessions improvement projects is the lodge parking lot realignment. This project will relocate the lodge entrance road and move the main visitor parking lot away from the front of the hotel to an area west of the hotel building. The relocation will create green space directly in front of the hotel, which will improve the view shed and create a more park-like setting for visitors and wildlife. A new cave tour shuttle bus stop area will also be added to integrate the cave tour operations into the design. A project that will replace and upgrade the deteriorated cave trail along Frozen Niagara route is also moving forward. The current trail was constructed by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s and sees hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. The project will stretch from the Grand Central Station to the Frozen Niagara entrance and include the drapery room. The work includes construction of an improved trail surface, installation of curbing along each side of the trail, replacement of existing handrails with stainless steel handrails, and reconstruction and upgrades of steps along the route. There will also be a hardening of the cave surface at 2 gathering areas along the route and the installation of new benches in these gathering areas. The work is expected to close this section of cave for 18 months. As more details are known, we will notify staff and the public of the status of this project. The park continues to gather data for a comprehensive trail management plan. There are 85 miles of trail within Mammoth Cave which need to be effectively managed and maintained, and we have received requests from local communities for new trails which could connect them to the park. This plan will give us a framework on how we can best manage our existing trails and potentially create more opportunities for the betterment of the public and our local partners. Teams from Clemson and Kansas State University are still collecting and analyzing data that has already been acquired. Due to our unusual operations in 2020, some of the data gathered was put on hold until a more accurate number can be obtained when operations return closer to normal. Maple Springs Campground has had some improvements made to it already, as electric and water has been added to all the sites. There will be additional work at the campground, though, to add new picnic tables and construct concrete slabs and open-air shelters at each site. This is the only developed campground on the north side of the park and is a great location for group camping and for our horseback campers. Planning will continue during FY 2021 on design work to improve the Denison Ferry day use area. The ferry ramp, parking and picnic areas will all be included in the design plans. The current canoe and kayak access ramp does not properly serve the visitors to this area as it is steep and makes it difficult to easily and safely get boats and people in and out of the Green River. This makes dropping off canoes and kayaks, parking, or navigating to turn around a challenge for the public and the canoe and kayak livery services. The Heritage Trail boardwalk that sits directly behind the Mammoth Cave Lodge needs rehabilitation. During 2021, the park is assessing the work needed to improve the boardwalk while keeping it accessible for those with disabilities. We will also be looking at the alignment of the trail at the back of the lodge to see if there are improvements that could be made to enhance the function of the space as well as the visitor experience to the lodge and the trailhead. As you can see, we have many projects and planning initiatives taking place in the park right now, and many others to look forward to in the years to come. Thank you for your interest and taking the time to learn more about Mammoth Cave National Park.